short video on how to use sprites inside our Scratch projects. Sprites are any visual element that are inside our project that we can interact with during our game. On this example I have here, you can see that I have my cat image. And in this example, the cat image is my sprite. For a game, our sprites also include all of the players that may be in the game, the non-player characters or enemies in the game, any power-ups or collectibles we might have in the game, any obstacles we might have in the game, such as barrels or boxes or levels. They are interactive or physical elements inside our game. The background, the image we see behind all of these sprites, is not a sprite as such. It's there to add depth and to add, to make our game look nicer, more complete. So here I have my image, and you can see that if I were to go into the settings here, I can change that to 150, and he grows in size. I can rotate this, so I can drag it, and you can see I can turn it this way here. Now we can do all of this stuff through our blocks as well, but we can set up our sprite to be the position that they want. And as I move this sprite around the screen, you'll see that my coordinates on the X and Y planes change. And I've got a name for it. Maybe I don't want to call it sprite 1, maybe I want to call it cat. So now in my program, when I want to refer to the cat, I'll use the name cat. If I click on the costumes tab, you will see that the cat has two costumes. Costume 1 and Costume 2. And Costume 1 and 2 are designed to be played one after the other to make it look like the cat is walking. And we'll have a look at how to do that with animation in another video. But let's say I don't want to have just a single cat in my project. How do I add more sprites into my project? Well, what I would do is I would add in more sprites here. So if I go and upload a sprite, or I can choose a sprite from the built-in. So let's look at choose first. I can pick an apple. Perhaps I want the cat to pick up an apple. So I'm going to add that in, and you see it gets added in here. And this is our template. Once we have one apple, we could make another apple. And so you can see that there's two power-ups that the cat can get. I'm actually going to reduce the size of the cat back to 100 because he's very large. It's much more manual there. We could add in, if we have a look here, you can see that we have a huge amount of imagery. And these are the built-in ones into Scratch. These may be suitable for your game, maybe they won't. Also notice that we have some drawings here, but we have some photographs. And depending on what type of style you're going for in your game, it may suit you to have photograph imagery or photograph sprites as opposed to drawn sprites. If you're not very good at art, I'm a programmer, I'm not very good at art, but I could dress up in a costume, and if I have a look inside here, I go into this character here, this character doesn't have it. So you can see here that I'm not very good at art, but this person has acted out all of the poses that she has. So there are 13 different poses that this character has, and we can move from one to the other to make it look like they're moving. If you're not very good at art, no one else is very good at art in your team, use your smartphone camera, use a digital camera, use your webcam to take photographs of your characters in the different poses they need to be. And then you can use that inside your game. You can see these are all different size images here. So let's match their scale. Let's make them larger and smaller to all be roughly the same size. So here we could reduce this down to 50. And you can see it's more normal there. This person here probably needs to be 75. So you can play around with the sprites that are in your imagery. If you are having movement in them, okay, so you can see here, if we drag across move 10 steps, every time I click that, my cat moves, but nothing else moves. If I were to click on the Ammon image here, there's no code behind it. There's only code when I click at the cat. So if I click on this, only the cat moves. Let's put him back here so he doesn't run off the screen. If I click on Ammon, maybe I want him to turn 15 degrees. So if I click on that he'll be the only one that turns. So as you add in sprites, different visual elements into your game, if they're required to move, or if they're required to react when a player touches them, like a collectible, or if they're required to disappear when their health reaches 0, like an enemy in the game, you need to add the code blocks into the individual sprites themselves. If you don't want to use any of the built-in sprites that we have here, you can upload your own. If we click on the upload here, I have a little small image that I've got from a Creative Commons website called openart.org, and I've added him in. And if you don't like the name, I think that's a very silly name for this character. That was just a file that I downloaded. I'm going to go with Cowboy. I think that's a more sensible name, and I think this character should be larger than where they are. So now, slightly bigger. Okay? So, there we have a very quick overview of sprites. The one thing we didn't touch on, I already said I'm not a very good artist, is that we can paint. If you want to draw your own image, you can click on it and you can see that it brings you to this canvas where we can draw what we want. We can pick the colors and the outlines, and you'd be able to draw the image that you want. Perhaps you want to fill it there, and then maybe we're going to draw a circle here, but that circle was going to be a different color and slightly opaque and not too bright. And we change the outlining so we can just have it like that, or we can fill it in. So you can see that you can edit these images as you go along to build your own imagery if you wish, or to use some of the built-in imagery that we have inside our Scratch projects, or to upload ones that you've created outside of the Scratch program. Once we have our sprites, we can look at another video on how can we interact with them, how can we move them using our keys. I hope this video has been useful, and I will see you in another video.